Hi again.
Time for another quiz. This one will be a very quick one. So I have written down here 3 things about my role that I think Kuka doesn't know. And Kuka has 3 things about her role that she thinks I don't know. So let's start quizzing. Kuka, what is the minimum age of a captain flying a big jet?
So I think I know this one. I know that for PPL, you need to be 16 to be able to fly a solo, and you need to be 17 to actually obtain the PPL license. But I know that you can obtain your ATPL and CPL when you're 18. So I would say 18.
That's wrong. Well, technically, you can be a captain when you're 18, but that's on a smaller plane. Like something like an Airbus 319 or a Boeing 737, you need to have an unfrozen ATPL, which you need to be 21 to have. So 21.
So that's the age when you can buy alcohol in States?
I'm not sure they thought about it.
My question for Soren is, how long does the cabin crew training last?
How long does it take to become cabin crew?
Yes.
4 weeks?
Well, this of course depends on the company, but in our company there's actually 2 different answers. I did the shorter one, that was 6 weeks, but here in the UK, if you take your cabin crew license, it's 8 weeks.
So 6 to 8 weeks to become cabin crew.
And I would say in Finnair it's also 2 months, so 8 weeks. I know that there is airlines that it takes even longer.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so Kuka, who gets paid the most? A fighter jet pilot, a passenger jet pilot, or a business jet pilot? And just to make it fair, let's say in Europe, all of those 3 pilots have flown for 3 years. Who gets paid the most?
Okay, I think I have an idea because I have seen the numbers. So the number 1 will be a passenger jet pilot, definitely.
That's correct. So I would say probably business jet pilot is the one that of the 3 gets paid the least. Of course, it varies from companies, but I would say, passenger jet, fighter jet pilot, and business jet pilot.
I would think that the fighter jet pilot gets paid the least because he's actually employed by the army, and army is usually not the most well-paid jobs.
But I didn't say captain, did I? So actually on a business jet, the first officer is more like a cabin crew sometimes.
Okay. Next one.
Yeah.
So, if passenger falls down, the heart is stopped, and I need to start giving CPR. How long I have to give CPR? When I can stop?
Well, I think actually you cannot stop until a doctor says you can stop. Or the head is separated from the body or something like that.
Well, if I don't have a doctor on board.
I don't think you can stop.
Well, this is the thing. In our planes, we have MedLink. So actually, MedLink through the sat phone can say that the passenger is dead. Okay. And therefore, we can actually stop giving CPR.
Okay. I think I was right because you need a doctor's permission.
Yes, you always need a medical permission to stop CPR.
Okay.
Next one. Shoot me. Don't shoot me.
Shoot you. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to ask you a question. So, on a 10-hour flight, how much do you actually think that I fly manually? So without using the autopilot, how much time do you think I actually fly manually on a 10-hour flight?
Well, I know it's takeoff and landing. Do you really fly manually from the starting of the accelerate on the runway until you are on the top of the climb?
I don't think she has understood the rules here. I asked the questions. So I'm just looking for a time.
Okay. I say 20 minutes.
No, I'd say about 5 minutes. Of course, it depends on the weather conditions and everything. I would correct you. It's not always that pilots land manually. Depending on the airplane and the airport, we can actually have what's called an auto land. The only maneuver I would always perform myself, or a pilot would always perform, is the takeoff. But usually within about a minute of getting airborne, we engage the autopilot, and depending on weather conditions, traffic conditions and everything, We start flying manually when we get a little bit closer to the ground. But I'd say all in all, typical flight, about 5 minutes.
Okay, my turn. So 10-hour flight from Helsinki to Phuket. It's a day flight. How many breaks and how long are my breaks on that 10-hour flight?
So 10-hour flight, day flight, Helsinki to Phuket. Okay, I know there's no mandatory rest requirement to have
Correct.
in-flight rest. How many breaks? I would say you have 3 breaks, and I think each of them are about 30 minutes.
I wish.
No?
No. Usually we have a tiny break before we start drink service, that maybe max 5 minutes. Then after all the service and people have got their food, more drinks, then we have about 20-minute break for eat some food.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's shorter, depends on the passengers, how many passengers are trying to cramp in the galley buying more drinks. So I would say about 20 minutes is normal. And then before we serve the second meal, or after the second meal, if we have time before landing, I would say another 5 minutes.
So you're saying that on a 10-hour flight, typically you had about 3 breaks, and adding up those numbers, about 30 minutes in total? I better make my own coffee the next time. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We tried to make it a little bit shorter this time based on your feedback. So if there's anything you think we can do better, just let us know. We tend to listen.
Yep. Like, comment, subscribe, and we see you next week.
Stay safe. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Hi again.
Then.
Okay.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.